The first time I opened up for Q-Tip, I was just happy to be there. I didn't care where they put me, upstairs, downstairs, off to the side, out of sight. This is Q-Tip. I would have DJ'd from backstage. I wasn't thinking about hierarchy, positioning, power. I was thinking, I can't believe that I'm here. The second night, they moved me on to the main stage. That's when I noticed something. I could turn my volume all the way up, but nothing happened. The sound had a ceiling. Not bad, not broken, just limited. And I didn't question it. Because when you're grateful for the opportunity, you don't always question the structure. It took me years to understand what that moment actually meant. There's a difference between knowing hierarchy exists and recognizing it when you're inside of it. Like when you know sugar is bad for you, but you don't really know until you stop eating it. You know power dynamics are real, but you don't really know until you see yourself being quietly replaced. I met Q Tip at dinner. My friend Marissa, bless her heart, introduced us. After this, she became my manager. She knew he was starting a monthly party series and she thought I'd be a good fit for it. Q Tip loves Brazilian music, soul music. He really loves it. Deep cuts, the rare stuff, music that probably a lot of Brazilians don't even know about. When he found out I was Brazilian, he was really excited. We talked about records, rhythm, about the way certain producers understood space in music. At the end of that dinner, he booked me. I want to be clear about something before I go any further. I have the utmost respect for Q Tip, for who he is as an artist, for someone who shaped the way I think about selection and timing, someone who gave me an opportunity, and what it means to hold a room. This is not a story about him being cruel or dismissive. This is a story about structure, about how hierarchy works in spaces where power is invisible until you're standing inside it. First night, I showed up really early. I remember walking into Irving Plaza and seeing the stage, elevated, lit, full production. The DJ setup was glowing under all those lights. And I remember thinking, Mom, I made it. Before I could even take it all in, I remember one of the producers tapping me on my shoulder saying, Let me walk you to your setup. He didn't walk me towards the stage. He walked me upstairs to the left, completely out of sight, at an older setup tucked in a corner next to a side door. For a split second, I was like, how are my friends going to see me here? Then I quickly snapped out of it because this is Q Tip. I don't care. I would have sung the songs from there if I had to. They gave me the signal. I started my set. From up there, I could see everything: the stage, people walking in, the bar. My set was fully Brazilian: old soulful records, the rare stuff, the things that I thought Q Tip would enjoy. Some of it was even new to me. I'll never forget something that he said to me. He said, You don't want to play songs that everybody know. You want to play records that people look at you and say, What the hell is that? And I'll never forget it. I still have it with me till this day. So that's what I did. And people were feeling it, not jumping, not screaming, but leaning into it, letting the unfamiliar wash over them. At one point, the door next to me opened and it was him. He said, Are you good? And I said, Yeah, are you good? I'm nervous. I'm like, How are you nervous? You are Q Tip. And he just shrugged it off. We wished each other well and I kept going. That moment humanized everything for me. How are you a legend and you're nervous? I thought that was everything. A few minutes later, I got the signal that they were going to start dimming down my sound so he can come on. He walks on stage, they cut down my music, he speaks briefly on the mic, then he starts going in. This was the first party of the party series. People started to tighten around him. Great experience. He hadn't been around in a while. It was just amazing to see. The second party I did, they moved me on to the main stage. I thought that that meant something, like I graduated. It was now this elevated booth, like a circular booth, really small but cool looking, in the middle of the stage. Tyson Beckford came to support me that night. I remember feeling like, wow, things are really shifting. I set all my levels carefully and I started my set. And within a few minutes, I started to realize things were different. I would turn the knob over to bring my sound up, to bring my music louder, but no matter how much I touched the volume, it would not go up. It wasn't distortion, it was clipped. There was a ceiling to my sound. For a second, I thought, okay, maybe I touched something wrong. I asked the sound guy to come in, is everything okay? He said, yeah, everything's okay. I had no complaints. I was just happy to be there. So I continued. Then Q Tip came on and the sound exploded. Then I understood, okay, it wasn't technical, it was structural. My set had a limit. His didn't. Full volume, brighter lights, all system go. I didn't say anything. I was just happy to be there. I told myself, okay, this is hierarchy. This is how it works. Legends headline, openers warm up like this. This is how it is. Simple. I worked with him a couple more times. I learned a lot. The way he trusted the silence in the room, the way he'd play something unfamiliar and let the room sit in confusion until confusion turned into curiosity. That part really stayed with me. Then one month I wasn't booked anymore. He had another female DJ play with him for a little bit, and then it changed again for another girl DJ. And I think this girl stayed with him for a while. She was more aligned with his culture. I was a little disappointed, but I can't take it personally. That's the industry. At some point, I realized it wasn't about me, it was about that slot. The opener position for a legendary artist is often rotational, especially for women. You warm the room, you bring the energy, you don't compete. And to be clear, there was never a competition. This is Q Tip, there's no competing with that. But I also rarely saw men in that position. Female DJs weren't that common back then. It was a small circle, a rotation. And eventually I saw the pattern. The position isn't designed to build you, it's designed to support the main event. That doesn't make it evil, it's just what it is. Here's what I understand now. In DJ culture, order is power. Who opens, who headlines, who closes. The headliner gets the imprint, the memory, the legacy. Even if the opener builds the foundation, women are often positioned as the opener. Not always, but a lot. Not because we can't headline, but because we're perceived as great for setting the tone for many reasons. Reading the room, welcoming energy, attracting people to come in, and yes, sometimes visually as well as musically. I've heard many conversations backstage, not malicious, but just very matter of fact. Let her open, she'll get people through the door early, then we'll just go in and kill it. Not mean, but just very certain. And here's the tricky part. Sometimes it works. It works really well. And then you might wonder, then what's the issue? The issue isn't the night. The issue is the trajectory. Who builds legacy? Who builds mythology? And who gets remembered as authority? When women rotate through opening slots while men anchor themselves as headliners for decades, the long term outcome becomes pretty predictable. And there's another layer to this. Male DJs in their 50s, their 60s can stand on stage with the same authority they had while in their 20s. Age actually deepens their credibility. For women, the runway is way shorter, not because skills fade, but because the industry often ties the female visibility to image. And image has an expiration date in nightlife. And that's not bitterness, it's just an observation. When you're young and opportunity comes at you fast, you assume it's pure merit. And maybe some of it is, but some of it is alignment with what the industry wants you to represent at that moment. When that alignment shifts, so does the access. After COVID, New York City changed completely. New DJs flooded Brooklyn. Scenes fragmented. If you live in Brooklyn now, it's safe to say you're probably a DJ. In Manhattan, unless you're locked in with ownership or grew up with the right people, prime slots are very rare. And the DJs who last, they build their own rooms, their own parties, their own ecosystems. And that's the pattern. I didn't understand any of this that first night. I didn't understand it fully the second night either. I could see the hierarchy, but I hadn't felt it yet. There's a difference between knowing something intellectually and knowing it in your body. I realized eventually that the opening slot is not a stepping stone, it's a category. And no amount of gratitude, skill, or loyalty can change the structure that depends on you staying where you are, especially in Manhattan nightlife. And that realization doesn't make me angry, it just makes it very clear. And I want to be very clear about something else. I'm very grateful for Q Tip. That experience stays with me for life. I don't believe he was personally orchestrating production decisions. And even if he was, I still very much value the opportunity. This is not about villainizing individuals, it's about naming a system. Legends center stage, openers on the side. Men build legacy, women rotate, generally speaking. Not malicious, just embedded. But once you see it clearly, you can't unsee it, and it's freeing. I'll still do opening sets sometimes. I like doing them. I'm good at it. It's a good skill to have as a DJ. But I no longer confuse it for progression. Opening is a position. And when you understand the structure of a room, you stop mistaking placement for position. I don't have the solution and I'm not giving any advice. I'm just naming what I've lived. Because once knowledge moves from your head to your nervous system, that clarity alone just changes how you move. This is Moniki Reports. See you next week.